Hello everybody, my name is DJ Dan with Soulful House Nation. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Today we're going to do something a little bit different here. This segment is called Our Community. And the reason we're doing this segment is because we realize that in the Soulful House community, we are into more than just music. We have more things going on in our lives. So what we're going to attempt to do every month is to bring you another aspect of the Soulful House community and address issues that are going on in our community. This month, as many of you know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And what I've done for us as a group is assembled two really special people. And they are breast cancer survivors. And what I wanted to do is to do a couple of things. Number one, I want to introduce you to them. Number two, I want you to have them listen to their stories. I want you to listen to their stories. And then, of course, I want, in the end, to tell you about the victory they have had and are having over breast cancer in our community. So, let's do this. I'm going to do a quick introduction. I'm going to introduce you to my special guest here, who I'm so happy to have. After having made some arrangements and people making schedules and stuff, and just so pleased we could get you here. To my immediate right is Joanne English-Rollison. She is a breast cancer survivor, but she is also the broker and the owner of English Realty out of Englewood, New Jersey. Then I have on my far right, I have the one and only TR, and she's involved in radio, broadcasting, TV host, and radio host. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are where we need to be at this moment, and I'm hoping that what they share with you is going to be very helpful to you. So let's do this. Let's get started. So I'm going to start with Joanne. Joanne, and I'm going to ask both of you the same question to tell us a little bit about you. So if you would, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, Dan. First of all, I'm very happy to be here today. My name is Joanne English-Rollison, and I am the broker of English Realty, a company that has been in business for over 65 years. Our slogan is, over 65 years in business, we must be doing something right. So that is my career. I'm carrying on a family legacy. My father started the company years ago, and I'm carrying it on. And I'm happy to be here today. And as you know, I'm also a cancer survivor. I am literally a 2-time cancer survivor. My first cancer, do you want me to share that now, or do you want... Okay. So my first cancer was Hodgkin's lymphoma when I was 21 years old. I went through all the same treatment, radiation, and so forth at a very young age, and I got through it. I mean, I fought, and it was at a time where my prognosis was very slim. The doctors actually told my parents that I only had 6 months to live. But God be the glory, He had something else in mind for me.
That's for sure.
So I did get through that one. And when I was 45 years old, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that was a time where I'm a little bit more aware. I was absolutely much more afraid because of the knowledge that we have, knowing that cancer is really something that could be very dreadful. But I did get through that also.
Okay. TR, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, well, as everyone knows me as TR, and I'm a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandma, which my grandson calls me Gigi, because I don't go for that granny stuff. You know, that is out. But I am a breast cancer survivor, and it's going on 8 years now. And there is life after breast cancer. There really is.
All right, TR, I want to start with you on this one. I guess you were minding your own business, and all of a sudden you found out there was something going on in your body that you're like, what's going on? Tell us how you found out that you had breast cancer.
Okay, how I found out was, the signs was I had a burning sensation, and it felt like needles were in both of my breasts. And I kept putting it off, I kept putting it off, and I kept putting it off and saying, it can't be. And then just one day, I was taking a shower. And the best time to check yourself, ladies, is in the shower. Because the soap moves, slides over your breast, and you are able to feel every lump, every bump, for some reason, between the soap and the water in the shower. And I felt a little tiny pebble, and I pressed it, and I was like, nah, this can't be what it should be. So I let it go. And then I got more pain in my breasts. And it was in both of them, in my armpits. So what it was is that the lump that I felt, people, was up here. This is my right breast. I felt it right here. And it started growing. And I think because it started growing, that's why I was getting the pain, because it started pushing out the tissue for the lump, the tumor to come up.
Right.
And I went and got it checked. And my doctor told me because I was having pain, it was most likely not breast cancer. It probably was a cyst. Well, he was 100% wrong. 100% wrong. By the time you go through the insurance, you get the okay, you get the appointment, the tumor was about as big as $50.
Oh.
That's what had happened. And when I went and had the mammogram done, and because they saw it, they did the ultrasound right away. They didn't have to wait to schedule me. And then next after that, they had to go in and take a biopsy to confirm that I had breast cancer.
Okay, now here's my next question. Cancer is one of the most frightening things, and probably the farther you go back, the more frightening it was. When you found out that you had cancer, I don't know what symptoms you had, maybe you want to share that, Joanne. What was your reaction?
Okay, so because I am a 2-time cancer survivor, I thought I was pretty aware of my body. I was doing jumping jacks. I had a personal trainer, and I was doing jumping jacks. And I felt pressure in my right breast. So it was a heaviness. So that didn't really make me think of anything, because in all honesty, because I'm a survivor of cancer, when I take a shower, just like you said, I was doing my self-exams in the shower, circular motion, soap, so that you could be aware of your breath. Well, I did that. And what my doctor told me is because I was doing it in the shower and I was standing up, your tissue is fatty tissue that kind of hangs down, so you're only feeling the fat. What he did when I went into his office is he laid me down on the table and he pressed down on the breast and did the same circular motion, and a tumor the size of a golf ball jumped up. Wow. That I did not feel in the shower.
Wow.
So he said that the tumor was lodged on my chest cavity and it was behind the fatty tissue. So the message is not only do you do your exam in the shower, but definitely lay down on the table and push your breast in and do the circular motion, because that's how mine was finally found. So I was doing the jumping jacks, and like I said, I just felt pressure. So the heaviness was a tumor the size of a golf ball that I was feeling in my right breast. So when I went to the doctor and he says, we're going to have this checked out, I went to have a mammogram and a sonogram and all those different grams, and then a needle biopsy, which that same day the results came in that I had cancer. So the feeling was like no feeling that I could really describe, because I was in the room and I was praying, and when the doctor came in the room and I saw his face, I knew what he was about to say. So obviously I broke down, because as I said, this is my second battle with cancer. So I was very afraid and just so unsure about a lot of things. And in all honesty, I kind of I kind of almost felt that, well, this must be it. When he said that you have cancer, and I said, what do I have to do? And he said, you have to have all the treatment, chemo, radiation. And at that point, I said, either, Joanne, you're going to give in or you're going to fight. And I decided that I want to fight. I have family. I have a son, 2 sons. I have a husband. I have grandchildren, just like you said. So I had, my first grand was, well, actually, when I was diagnosed, it was prior to my first grand. But again, during treatment, I mean, I have grandchildren, so I have the desire to fight. So I went through the treatment and chemo, radiation, and in going through the treatment, it was very difficult because chemotherapy is no joke. You got to be strong just to withstand the treatment.
Wow.
So I went through the treatment and vowed that I was going to fight for my life because I had to be strong for my family. And in doing so, I decided to step out and go for support. And the support included Gilda's Club, organization called Tennis for Life, which you get to go and play tennis for life and you get lessons. So a bunch of support groups I went to because it was a little difficult for me that time around. And I didn't want to put the pressure on my family to have to deal with me going through this alone. I didn't want to. So I went outside and got additional support from others, which was definitely needed. And when I got that support, I got enough strength to stand on my own and say, you know what, I'm going to do my own cancer support fundraising organization. And that's when I started Spring Bling Think Pink, which is a fundraiser where I give back to the hospital, Inglewood Hospital, and Tennis for Life, and Gilda's Club, all the places that I went for treatment and help.
Okay. Now, let me ask this question. I'm going to throw this out to you, TR, and then Joanne, if you want to jump in at some point. Now, see, like, let's say if I was, like, to do certain things, let's say if you drank alcohol, you get drunk. If you drink too much water, you're going to have to run to the bathroom a lot. Breast cancer. Is there something that you do or it just happens?
Well, I'm going to say because now I'm an advocate, okay? I'm an advocate because of my 2 battles with cancer. I'm going to say that all of the above, no one knows what causes cancer. They really don't know. But I believe there may be a cure that we just don't know about. But again, no one knows what causes it. But I believe that the lack of exercise, I believe that the foods that we put in our mouth, so not only breast cancer, but any cancer, what you put in your system affects whether or not the cells that you have in your body are going to activate and become cancerous. So I believe we all have the cells already there, but I kind of believe they're just dormant. And depending on the lifestyle you live, will be depending on whether or not it's going to activate. So some of the things that causes it to activate is stress. And to me, that's the #1 thing that will cause cancer cells to activate. If you have any type of stress in your life, it's possible that it can turn into cancer. That's what I believe.
TR, she kind of addressed that a little bit, but I would like to get your input on it. And also, if there's any tips that you would recommend for someone who is going through it, or maybe what they can do to kind of maybe prevent it, or I don't know if you heard anything about foods or anything like that.
Okay, but I do know for the fact that I was told that cancer thrives on stress. It eats it like sugar, like yeast eats sugar. And it's in your body. The more stress that you have, because you know breast cancer was only known for Caucasian women. Now it's in the African American women. It's really high now for us people of color. But I also believe that the food that we eat, and we're actually poisoning our system, regardless if it says it's organic or not, just the fact that the water, the air that we breathe, we are inviting toxins in our body. And because we're inviting toxins in our body, plus the stress, the combination of them both are provoking certain cells in our body to come forth to try to detox. And when it tries to detox, it's letting this cancer stuff out. But why it's trying to come out, it's destroying the rest of our bodies. So it's like having people who have heart attacks, but they ate right, they exercised and everything else, but you didn't eliminate the stress in your body. And everybody has it. We have this microwave mentality, so everything has to be done fast, 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 and it puts the stress on our body. Stress on the animals, that when they're killed, there's so much stress, they let these toxins come out, and then we eat that toxins that they have out, and it promotes different things in our body. Because of greed, the meat that we eat, and if the animal got sick and they got antibiotics, they don't wait for the time for the antibiotics to get up out of the animal system, and then they sit there and they sell the meat, and you come to find out that you're getting sick from the meat that you eat. Or if you're allergic to penicillin and they gave that animal penicillin, now you're sick. So a lot of the things that are happening to our bodies, regardless of what cancer it is. Cancer just means it's a toxin that's coming out of the body, and it's eating its way out, trying to get out. That's all that is. It's like having an open sore, and it's trying to heal itself, and it's not. And stress causes heart attacks. It causes cancer. It causes anxiety. It causes people to have mental illness. Stress has a lot. That's why God says for us not to be worried for anything, because it brings strong sickness on our bodies. You know, and like I said, we can exercise. There is no way of eating right. The air is poison. The water is poison. They're duping us. There is no way. And during our family's time, we were able to eat right. You know, but the tips, as far as tips, is when you're going through it, everybody has a different story. You got to do what works for you. Some people rely on Western medicine. Some take the herbs and the combination of them together. It's the mind and the willpower, and what type of support that you have to eliminate some of the stress so that the body can regroup itself to fight. Because like my sister here says that chemo is no joke. I was in the hospital every month, faithfully 2 and 3 weeks, because of diverticulitis. It ended up attacking my stomach because apparently it was the weaker part of my body. And almost lost my life a couple of times behind getting an infection in my body, because the chemo knocks down your T cells, your immune system. I ended up in hospital for 2 days because I was doing gardening and got scraped by a thorn from a rose bush.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to go from, I'm going to say, some of the more trying parts to the uplifting. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Dan with Soulful House Nation. Get ready, get ready, get ready. We're going to be back in a few moments. Get ready, get ready, get ready, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to part 2 of our segment here on breast cancer awareness. This is Soulful House Nation, and this segment is called Our Community. We're going to continue our conversation with Joanne English Rollison and TR. So, let's do this. We started a little conversation, a little bit about, we talked about stress, but what I want to do on this part is, after a few things in the beginning, I want to talk about life after breast cancer. That you can still laugh and smile and have a good time. So, let's do this. Let's start off with the question. You were giving us, both of you, a few little tips, and maybe you could talk a little bit about checkups and how important they are and how often you should do them. So maybe you guys want to speak to that a little bit, and we'll kind of work our way up. So, TR, you want to start?
Yes, just before we went to break, I was speaking about that rose bush. And the point and the tip that I want to make with that is that you have to do everything in your power to keep from subjecting yourself from any infections. And my tip is with that, those fast foods, you have to leave it alone. The all-you-can-eat restaurants, you have to leave it alone because of bacteria in the place. And these are very strong tips, I'm telling you. People may think it's yuck, but you hear because of the bacteria. People breathing up over. Your system is not strong enough when you're dealing with chemo. You don't do that. So these are important tips where somebody else may think that it's not. What was the other question?
Well, no, we're good here, but I want to just move on. I can tell you personally, making these food adjustments are, I guess, is some of the hardest things you've ever had to do. But how easy was it for you to make these adjustments when all of a sudden, hey, everybody's saying, well, listen, I want to go out and grab this, I'm going to go out and grab this, or I'll tell you, my parents, if you wanted to upset my parents, like you couldn't come from outside and go to the refrigerator. I mean, they just didn't do that. You didn't do that without, under penalty of death. You couldn't come out from outside, go into the refrigerator. You couldn't come from outside, everything you had to wash your hands. Talk about the importance of the cleanliness. Both ladies, just little things that you have to pay attention that most people take for granted.
Well, I just want to add to what TR said about going to buffets. Buffets are probably have the most bacteria and germs ever. Thousands of people, touch the food. You have kids that are sneezing over it. So especially when you're going through treatment, your immune system is somewhat challenged. And just even after being diagnosed with cancer, you do have a challenged immune system. So you just have to be aware. I definitely believe in changing your diet. So I've focused on now having a more alkaline diet, a lot of green vegetables. My doctor always says, you know what, just have a colorful plate. If you have a colorful plate, you'll have your greens, your rich greens. You'll have your beets, the red. You'll have fruit. You'll have, a colorful plate will give you a good start as far as change of your diet. Also, lots of water. People don't realize it that most of us don't drink enough water. You have to drink a lot of water,
Especially going through chemo. You have to.
yes, and even beyond, like he says, now we're beyond. We still have to focus on maintaining. So yes, we have to drink a lot of water. Cleanliness is very important. When you travel, when you go on a plane, you wouldn't believe how many germs are on planes. So, a tip is to carry those little sanitizing wipes with you. And when you sit in your seat, just wipe off the edges and so forth. Because you just want to stay well. You want to stay well, you want to stay aware, and you want to stay woke,
Okay.
as they say.
And don't be afraid to wear a mask.
Okay.
I used to have to go back and forth for treatment on the train. And I would have to clean off the area and wear a mask. And people looked at me as if I was the contagious one. But I made fun of it. Was like, if they didn't want to sit next to me, I was like, good, I had a seat more or less to myself. But you'd be surprised that what you go through, you have to maintain. It's a protection shield that you have to put up to be able to get through.
And just to add, that I feel is the most important part of this segment is early detection. So yes, we've had cancer, and just like for a message to everyone out there is early detection is the best protection. If you're aware of your body, you're aware of your diet, you're aware of how you feel, don't hold it in. If there's something that's not right, communicate it. Go to the doctor. Listen, now after 2 bouts with cancer, if I have a hangnail, I'm going to the doctor.
All right.
And it's not only just for women either.
And
my
men-
uncle was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 times.
Wow.
Wow. Yes, and men do get cancer, breast cancer. That's true. They don't, talk about it a lot, but yes, men get breast
It's
cancer
becoming
too.
more common now.
Yes, so you have to be aware and also examine your body. As a man, as a woman, examine your body. Look for lumps. Look for discoloration. Look for rashes. Look for things that just doesn't look the same. So early detection. Be aware.
Wow. As I'm listening, talking to you, things are going through my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, hold it. What happened to me today? I just got to take a whole new look at what's going on here. Let's get on the other side of things. Now you've decided, okay, there is life after cancer. Tell us some of the things that are important to you now. Tell us some of the things that, even though you had cancer, you got to make some adjustments in your lifestyle. Tell us about the other side of your life and what you can look forward to, even though these things have happened.
You want me to start?
You got it. Yeah.
This is the best part about this is that I survived. So now that I've survived, what am I going to do? And you know what I'm going to do, Dan?
I'm listening.
I'm going to live.
All right.
I'm going to live, and I'm going to celebrate every day that I wake up. So when I open my eyes, I'm excited. I celebrate life every day. And I live each day as if it's my last. And people don't understand that. But I dress, people like, Joanne, you dress up all the time. That's what I do. That's what I love to do because I'm able. I walk, I exercise, I play tennis, and now I give an annual breast cancer benefit, a celebration of life, so that, people can understand that cancer does not have to be a death sentence. Okay, now that we have survived, now we're going to live for real, and we're going to live right. So I truly just believe that God kept me for a reason, and I need to do something about it. So I'm happy that He kept me. So now I do things. I'm an advocate. So if someone is diagnosed with breast cancer, they can come talk to me. I will go pray with them. I will go to the mammogram with them. I will go to the doctor with them. I will hold their hand. That's important to me because God kept me. I feel I want to be responsible for keeping somebody else.
Tiara, you want to jump in?
Yes, I look at life much different than what I did before. Before I took a lot of things for granted. But after you go through all that you do go through with cancer, and you end up coming out on top, I had a good support group. I had my church, I had my family, and actually the hospital gave me big support, and big support. So it was like a complete circle, and there was no gap in it. So because of that, but like I said, when I wake up in the morning, I just, thank you, Father, for allowing me to have another day. Even though I might have aches and pains, it's all good compared to what I went through before.
Wow.
It's all good. And because I look at life much differently, and I got like a second chance that I know of. Now, there could have been a couple of chances that I've done that I just missed that I didn't know about. But I know about with this one, with me having a second chance. That's how I was able to get into doing what I do now. And I strongly believe that if I didn't have cancer, then I wouldn't have got into television and stuff like that, because what happened was when I was going through the cancer, I ended up taking classes for television to keep my mind and everything up abroad. And I would go in there with the mask, I had no hair, everything that looked like that had cancer on you. And the other students, my classmates had patients, my trainer, and I ended up being one of the top in the class, and that's because I was determined to do this, because this was my way of fighting. And I came out on top and victorious because of the grace of God. So when somebody looks at it and says, oh, it's cloudy outside, I say, yup, Sure is, but you know what? I'm on this side of the fence instead of the other. And that's what I always think of. You know, and the way I look at my grandchildren and my daughter and my great-grand, I just smile and say, Lord, I got a chance to see, you know, to see another generation. Instead of by faith, you know, saying I will have it. So I look at things much differently. But I also, which can be maybe not so much of a positive side, I don't have patience with those with nonsense, because I was like, I survived this and the rest of my life isn't dealing with this sort of stuff. This is true real estate.
We're getting down to the wire, it looks like. I got two little things I would like to just ask. Question number one is, what life lessons have you learned, and that maybe you want to share, that you can share? What life lessons?
My life lessons was that tomorrow is not promised. That's overall, because if you can't live, then there's nothing else for you to do. Because once you're dead, it's over. And I just look at people and situations, you know, much differently. Even in the cancer center, you know, I just look at life much different and more in a positive way. I just do. And that, but like I said, also for people that are out there, I had Sisters Network that helped me through, and they specialize in women of color who have cancer. And they helped me through a lot, and I have to put that out there, Sisters Network.
Okay, lessons learned.
That God makes no mistakes, and He chose me. And He chose me because He knew I could handle it. I learned that I live to give back. As I give back, God continues to bless me. I believe that I'm supposed to share my story of survival, and share my story of whatever it is that I do, so that I can encourage somebody else. I'm not in this world by myself, and I need to share my experiences just to help others. In helping others, it helps me, because as I share my story of survival and I share my story of being here, it kind of releases toxins, things that are built up inside you. When it releases toxins, I believe it heals me also.
Okay. Now, last question. I know that every year you started telling us a little bit about it before. Can you talk to us about your fundraiser that you do, your annual fundraiser?
Yes. I give an annual fundraiser this May 18th, 2019, will be Spring Bling Think Pink. It is a destination weekend retreat in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I do it every year. We come together and we celebrate life. I have a band. I have amazing artists come and sing. I have amazing food. People donate. We're in Florida. It's a 3-day retreat. Friday is a meet and greet. Saturday is the gala, and Sunday is an inspirational breakfast. I do this because I went to Florida when I was dealing with cancer and I was being treated. And it was the best place for me to go and de-stress and heal, because of the sun and the vitamin D and the warm weather. So I chose Florida to give my annual retreat at, because that's where I went to heal. So I invite all to contact me if you're interested in attending Spring Bling Think Pink, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 2019. It will be amazing.
Tiara, any final thoughts. I know, and I always tease TR. One thing that I always tease TR about. Here we go. I know she's very, very close to writing a book. Yeah, and I've been teasing her for years, and I just wanted to speak briefly, just kind of set the stage for it. When you go through this cancer process, and TR, we talked about it a lot, that there is this feeling that maybe you're not as beautiful as you actually are. Can you just speak to that a little bit, TR?
Yes, while I was going through the cancer, there was a lot of things that I found out that I could do and was doing that I couldn't find on the internet. And what I've learned was how to make yourself look like you weren't going through the fire. So not everybody could wear wigs. I couldn't wear wigs, not until later. So I had a bald head for a while. But I had found ways to have fancy scarves around my head wraps. I learned how to paint on my eyebrows. I learned to put my eyelashes on. I learned to make myself beautiful where people didn't even know that I was going through the fire. So to help somebody else how to go through it and still stay beautiful, because if you look pretty, then you're not going to feel as sick as you really are. And I think that when you're going through the fire, you need every positive thing going on to show you how to be beautiful. And that was something really big for me.
And I say about that, as far as I lost my hair, I lost my eyelashes, I lost my eyebrows. But you know what? I did not lose my life. So all
that's right. I'm still here.
All right.
That's right. That's right. So that's why I said you learn to put, and even when I said to God, if you don't return any of those things as far as hair goes, it's okay, because the way they got it now, being bald is not something, it's not a big deal anymore.
Right.
It's very in. Short hair to no hair.
Yes, it's very in.
It's very in. So if you suffer from alopecia or your hair didn't come back because of the chemo, it was all good.
All right, folks. Well, we're gonna. On that note, we're going to end this series here, this segment here, and I just want to thank our special guests, Joanne English Wallison and TR. I just want to say thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. And again, this is, the Soulful House community is a holistic community, and we want to continue to bring things to you that are of value in addition to the music. So, my name is DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation. Get ready, get ready, get ready.